morning and welcome to the show. We're live in St. Louis. It's Chris Denman in Midcoast Studio. Check out midcoast.media for more information. Happy Monday, everybody. Excited to be here. Joining me live from an undisclosed location in Brooklyn, New York, it's Travis Terrell. Good morning, Travis.
Namaste, everyone. It is a blessing and a privilege, as always, for you to be in my presence.
There he was. Okay. It always comes back around. I get confused, and then the world rights itself. The great Chris Gardner. He's the stream queen. He's the executive producer, and he usually will say something weird about a minute and a half into the show. Good morning, Mr. Gardner.
Good morning, gentleman in St. Louis. Good morning, my revolutionary brother in Brooklyn
What's up, Gardner?
at undisclosed location. And good morning. Hope you had a good weekend.
Is this further proof he's just basically in Wellston somewhere, or somewhere around St. Louis?
To my walnuts.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Nuts of walnuts.
Nice.
Oh, hold on. I want to go church on it. Walnuts. Amen.
I give that 3 bodies of Christ
Haunting.
out of 3.
Haunting.
Gardner, Travis joining us. We're happy to be here thanks to Tech Electronics. Their wonderful equipment gets us through the show. If you guys missed us, well, we missed you. We missed Travis on Friday. We had a technical issue on our end. And I'm
Hold
actually...
up, time out. Before we continue, what the fuck is that on your shirt?
We've done this before. And
No, I'm sick and tired of this. What is this?
if you want to be part of the team, man, I mean, maybe someday you could get jumped in. It's Team
Is that
Denman.
a,
Lifetime
is that a
member.
Nazi eagle?
Oh, I was
He always goes
I
that
was-
direction. Yeah.
not wanting to touch that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it looks like a Nazi eagle.
Excuse me, your parole officer's calling. Trav, you want to pick that up? Don't make them wait. You know they get upset.
What's that background behind
Yeah,
you?
what is that? You've got an
That's
interesting
racist as hell.
Yeah.
It's
White people can
it's
go
a
to prison.
mural. No, they don't. That's such a myth.
Look. Why do you
I
But
almost
behind me-
did. But my white privilege.
I've never seen it actually in real life. I just seen it on the movies.
Yeah.
But behind me is what is now the J train from the 50s. And so, yeah, it's the old New York transit system from back in the 50s. It's a lovely mural inside my undisclosed location.
Have you taken the A train?
I have. I took it yesterday, in fact.
Who wrote that? Was that Duke Ellington or Count Basie?
Sure.
Take the A train. I can't recall. It's one of the two.
Now, you could just be at at like a Hobby Lobby or what are those stores that sell things like that?
Michael's?
Michael's. You could just be at a Michael's. Wouldn't that be
Very
something?
possible.
If he's
Be
been
pretty
in South
early to
County
be at a
the whole time.
Michael's.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it is the East Coast. What time do you think Michael's opens, Gardner?
No clue. I couldn't even. I don't have a source to confirm or deny any potential opening
potential-
time. I'd say. Well, man, it's hobby people. I would say on the earlier side.
Yeah. Now,
Maybe 9.
Now, one of us, any one of the 3 of us, walks into a Michael's alone at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Do you think the workers there are like, oh, this dork, he just got a new apartment and thinks he's going to make it look cool? Like, what
I've been in
type
one
of person is hanging out
by
at Michael's?
myself before.
Okay.
But I was looking for fabric
Uh-huh.
for to create the patches for carte blanche.
Of course, as one does.
Yeah.
Travis, last time you were at a Michael's.
Well, first off, I think our mistake would be thinking that I give a damn about the opinion of people who work at Michael's.
Oh.
So if my ass wants to get up on a Saturday morning and go to Michael's and start purchasing fabric, then they can just shut the hell up about their damn opinions because they work at Michael's 10 o'clock on a fucking Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Weekend.
What about
Yeah.
what about like a foam thing that you would paint and make look like something nicer?
don't
Would you ever do that?
I don't know why I'm angry today, guys. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
It's a,
I
I have
think
a
I
very
know why.
stressful day ahead of me. It's a big day for the brand. Of course, as you all know, as
The
I
brand.
become this
We are live.
this mogul, as I become this
Oh.
presence in Hollywood, as I become
You're in New
the next
York.
Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. Um,
Gardner, are you able to close
You're
up
like
on me?
you're like on the opposite coast. You're not even in Hollywood.
Are you able to close up on me, Gardner?
Yeah. If you give me just a second
Well,
here.
we'll cut to this. We're like, I want Travis to become this mogul so bad. Like, for him to be in that position, I would be one of the first to be interviewed when they do the background story on, oh, hey, he's smashing everything now, but where was he before? And then they just cut to me, and I'm ready. It's my debut, and I'm excited to talk about Travis, and then it's just this.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Nothing. Just to be
I
utterly speechless.
like the nickname though, the brand, Travis. What do you think of
Travis,
that?
the brand Terrell.
How about that?
I just I'm at a point in my career where it's not about awards anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the big houses. It's not about the multiple supermodels and the multiple exotic locations. It's about telling a story to the children. It's about telling a story to those who don't have a voice. And today I have an opportunity to present that voice to the world. And so just a little bit on edge. I apologize. I just know today will ultimately determine the rest of my life.
Take this in the spirit it's intended. I hope you get something that takes you far, far away.
um.
Black Sheep thinks
Good luck.
you're at a Subway. Black Sheep thinks the
Oh,
wallpaper
a
you
Subway
have is
restaurant?
that it is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Subway
yeah.
restaurant, particularly in Park Hills, Missouri.
What's the special sandwich today?
Mm-hmm.
Is it turkey?
If we
Wouldn't that
somebody
be
behind
awesome
him
if you could just
slicing
knock
up salami.
just knock on their window? Excuse me, trying to do a podcast this morning. You mind if I use your Subway?
Sure, man.
Live from the subway. No, a subway.
A Subway.
A
Yes,
subway.
yes. Make sure that's
Yeah.
distinguished. So, okay. So you've told us about a little bit about who you're pitching to. Let's recap that for some people. You think your life could drastically change. All Travis Terrell insanity aside, what's the best possible scenario out of the next couple days for you?
Uh, I think if Nickelodeon makes me executive vice president of
Okay,
creative,
Mhm.
that would probably be a smart move on their behalf. Um, to be completely honest, met with some fellows last night. We don't necessarily have a general idea as how this is going to go. It's going to, but a lot of people previous fellows have had the opportunity to present their work to multiple networks, and those networks have taken the time to buy that material from some previous writers for Sesame Street. Some people get opportunities to work for Sesame Street. It's kind of like a job fair, but it's all centered around you. The job comes to you. So it's going to be them kind of seeing if you're a feel for them. And some people will get meetings, some people will get some phone calls in the future. It just varies. And, we're just about to find out how this rat race actually works.
Gardner, are you intrigued?
I'm always intrigued.
Oh boy,
It's been a fun.
fun ride.
It has,
Yeah.
and it's not over. Is the thing.
Mm.
You know, this is just part of it. This.
Yeah, this is one. It's one of those things where I think it's like your baptism by fire. It's one of those where like this is something that's kind of part of the job, or will always be part of the job, whether you like it or not. When you're trying to get a project financed, or you're trying to get it in front of the hands of the right people, these are the type of events that one has to attend. And it's like I said, why not just do it in front of multiple execs all in one night? So what better way to have it
Remix.
happen?
You just
Down
remixed, sir.
a budget around the. Oh, did I mix up?
Yep. You
Yeah,
still
just
there?
for a moment.
Yeah, just for a moment. Go. Just repeat what you're saying.
No, it's just I was ultimately just saying it's all part of the job. It's just something I'm gonna have to get used to. So what better way than to do it on a night like tonight?
That makes sense. I also think you're upset because you missed the show Friday due to our stream issue, and you didn't get to properly vent last week. We had a horrific, you never thought it would happen again, but it did, a repeat of the great Twitter outrage of 2017, 18? 2018 that originally happened. We had Gardner manning things out on the street. But do we have a recap of when that happened, Gardner? Originally.
Yes, and then we can touch on
last week.
What happened last week. But this has happened to us before, live on the air. And Travis, I know you remember it. I mean, it was devastating.
Seared into his brain.
It was devastating.
It was our Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. And I mean that legitimately because we didn't know what was happening, and so did most of Hawaii. So, yeah it was the same thing.
It was, it was the where were you, what were you doing moment of our generation, possibly. And
Definitely.
We handled it rather well. And for those that haven't heard how we handled it, because I know we have some new viewers, new listeners.
They're about that organic growth.
I just want to recap how we handled it, and I believe it was April 17th or around there. So mid-April is when this happened. A Twitter outage/outrage happened while we were live on the air on the radio side. I think Twitter's down.
What?
And I don't know what to do.
Oh, goodness. Come on, Twitter bird. He's right. Code red. Twitter is not loading. No, this is bad. Oh, my. Twitter is down for some users. It has been reported by CNET. I don't know, man. I'm not getting anything. Oh, God. The Russians have gotten us. Peyton, I know you're a big Twitterer. Can you get on your Twitter? He cannot get on his Twitter. I'm going to send a tweet. I am tweeting right now. Bree is currently on the phone with 911. They should be here shortly. I told them that multiple black people were in the studio, so they should be here in a matter of seconds.
I'm going to call KSDK.
As for Art Holiday, he get to the bottom of this. Reported in UK, Japan, and eastern coast of the United States. Well, it's in Midwest now, my friend. It's spread. It's happening. I'm going to send a tweet. Tweet test work, but I cannot read other tweets.
I've got nothing.
NGA, have they set up shop already in North City? Can we get them on the phone, please? Twitter outrage map. Outrage and outage. There's outrage.
Outrage is here.
Outrage
is in the studio.
Japan was hit the hardest. Twitter outage map has Japan in red. Do not panic. Do not panic. Do not go get your kids from school just yet.
You might want to get your kids.
Okay, you may have to get the kids out of school. We do not know the cause for this outage. Bree is doing her best to contact the necessary authorities to find out what happened. I am not one to cause mass hysteria, but I think the Russians are knocking on the door. This is just like Red Dawn. This is how Red Dawn started.
There are 3 cars backed up at one pump at the Phillips 66 across the street.
Oh, my.
No, 2 cars are just parked. So people are not necessarily panicking as of yet. Save yourselves.
Okay, wait. Twitter has been reestablished. Twitter is back. I have Twitter back. They letting me know that I passed my Twitter test. Looks like the West Coast was not drastically affected by the brief Twitter outrage, outage, or however you want to call it.
So yeah, I thought we handled it pretty well the previous time.
I tell you what, to have a investigative team on standby for those moments.
Mm-hmm.
What an emotional time for our country.
Yeah,
for our country. Yeah.
I think we luckily we weren't on the air this last time. The recent one, was it last Thursday, I guess, when this all went down again. But
Jesus, I
mean, you kind of have the flashbacks though when something like that happens.
I was being productive with my life, so I didn't know it was down. And when I discovered that it was, I've never felt more empty inside.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment that I was like, man, maybe I should have started a family sooner. Maybe I should have laid off some of the drugs. And I don't know, it was a very reflective hour. And then it came back and I was like, oh, never mind. Shut up about that stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Back to the cool memes and the bottle challenges.
Twitter outrage map.
Oh, right there.
It was outrageous.
It was outrageous.
And I don't like the fact that Chris is very nonchalant about it. Like Chris, he isn't as emotionally scarred as others during that day. Like that moment, like it doesn't even faze him. Like he thinks Twitter's cute. he doesn't know it's a way of life. And I wish he would show more appreciation for the amazingness of Twitter.
President Trump saved Twitter.
See, that's some bull.
Remember that? It was kind of struggling, and he said, "Get back up here." He said, "Come with me."
Well,
You
you had
got 4 years of prosperity.
how was? But you had the black. Were you involved in the blackout? That
Is
seems
this
like a
is
load
this
of-
like was this a Black Twitter thing, or
yeah,
how did it go?
New York. Whew, okay.
Come on, swim out of it.
Okay, let's see here. So there was the lights went out, the power went out in New York City. Travis, did
It
that
did.
impact you at all? And that was over
It did
Saturday,
not.
I guess.
No, yeah, we were actually, some friends and I were considering going into Manhattan, but we felt like it was just such a nice day. We wanted to find some place where we could just partake in the lovely parks by the river. And so we stayed on the Brooklyn side. And yeah, at some point, over 42,000 customers lost power in Midtown Manhattan. Um, so it was a massive inconvenience. On a Saturday afternoon, there was no power in parts of Times Square. A lot of the tourist attractions had to be shut down because there was no power. Shows on Broadway, which had just begun, they had to evacuate the theaters. I don't know if you saw some of the Twitter threads, but there were some of the actors and performers who actually performed on the street corners and outside the theater venue for audiences because they had to, of course, cancel the shows since there was no power.
I got a
So
little
that was
video
kind of
actually.
cool. Oh, cool. Fire that bad boy up.
This is the. I guess this was outside Carnegie Hall.
hmm
The Millennial Choir, I think it's called.
I consider the Carnegie Hall, it's like one of my office mates because it's so close to the Sesame Street offices. So it's almost like I work across the street from Carnegie Hall.
Okay.
Like, of course I do, right?
You should. I like describing it like that. Finding a landmark. Oh, I walked across the street. Or I work, right by Carnegie Hall.
Right.
It's like you're a part of it.
Yep.
You make it sound like you're a part of it.
Right. Like, oh, old Carnegie.
Yeah.
Just hanging
Old
out.
Carnegie.
hmm
The hall. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
impromptu concerts happening around town. There you go. So that
Pretty
was-
awesome.
And also, I noticed
Best fans on Broadway.
I noticed there too.
Beat Fibbers.
Best fans in theater.
What was happening as the power goes out, and I was unaware of this until a few people on Twitter were pointing it out because they were there, was something called Manhattan Hinge, where
Yes. The sun
yeah,
will set in between I forgot what street, but it goes, it's like this phenomenon where it just sets in between the massive skyscrapers in New York, like at a perfect time, at a perfect angle. It's like the equinox almost, but for the sun in Manhattan. So it, like, at certain moments of the day, that sun, when it sets, it just splits these massive buildings right
Mhm.
down the middle. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I forgot it was taking place this weekend as well. I think it's also going to take place again next weekend too. But yeah, it's become a more recent phenomenon with the growth of Instagram and Twitter.
good pictures. People want the
Very
pictures.
good pictures. Like,
Yeah.
people literally, and it's now come up again. Like, it's the crazy thing about New York is that something can become viral and a phenomenon overnight, and it becomes a tourist attraction in a matter of a year. And so police officers literally are now stationed outside of Manhattan Hinge because they know people will stand in the middle of the street and take these pictures. So now that's a thing in New York. So you can see, if you're a resident for a long time, how that could probably get annoying over a while.
Well, I mean, Eckert's here just opened up their sunflower field maze.
Yep.
So
Oh.
I think we're going to have
Oh.
more of these photos going on around town
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
here too.
Oh dear
It's your own
God.
So-
little slice of Coachella, wherever you are.
So get ready for
Oh,
those.
Yep.
You all right there, Travis?
Is that a real photo?
Yeah, it's a real photo.
Is that
Like from
happening
an
in
Instagram
California?
account?
I don't know. I can't remember where I pulled it from. Why?
Chrissy
want me
hit that.
Do you want me to try and find the person for you?
No, I'm just curious. Like that's a good photo, but is that what people are literally doing throughout St. Louis now?
Oh,
Well,
I'm
they
su-
will be.
They will
They
be.
will be.
Yeah.
That's probably a
Oh,
photo
okay.
for. See, the problem is, anytime there's some kind of a sunflower farm or something, the people from maybe even from the Millennial Theater, Millennial Choir, tend to stomp around, and take a bunch of selfies with whatever flowers are in the field. And you encourage this behavior, Travis.
I do. I do because I love those accounts. And I love this city because of that, because this is where most of the influencers live. And so you will be walking down the street and there will be someone with a selfie stick just in the middle of the crowd, just casually taking pictures. And you can't even get mad about it anymore because it's people's job. It's how people pay the rent around here. They take fun photos in the city of New York, and that's how they live their life. So even as a New Yorker, they're like, even when you see them on the street, you can't be mad because you're like, hey, they're working.
Can you be bad if there's like a building on fire and they're doing that though?
Yeah, I can see that being an issue.
I believe that's happened before.
Maybe, but I think right now a lot of the heat is on people in Chernobyl. They're going to visit. Have you seen the numbers that people have since the HBO show of visitors are now coming from across the world to now take pictures in front of the Chernobyl site?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as long as that's a thing, I think most American influences are good.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Yeah,
guess.
it gets to be a little.
Would you be
weird.
if you guys had if someone said, "Hey, we're going to pay you six figures to be an IG Twitter influencer," do you think you guys could create enough content to justify your salary?
I don't think I could ever justify my salary in that instance. Maybe that's an old school way of looking at it.
Mr. Gardner's account of the weird
Yeah.
is what we would look
I
into.
don't know how I could ever fully justify a salary that's six figures for that. I don't.
Photography for the photography.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just don't.
If you placed, think about that. You've got one valley that you should go into, and that's big tobacco. And if they could find ways to put product placement into your Instagram account, it's justified pretty quick, sir.
Maybe if it's just, I'm traveling different places, but that costs money, but everywhere I go, I smoke a cigarette in the photo or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and they just happen to be a certain brand.
Yeah. I prefer Newports.
Got it.
We can make that work.
Okay, putting it out there. The folks at Truth will be right up on your ass as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only industry that's forced to advertise against itself. So
By paying for their own advertising. Yeah, exactly. I am curious, since we're talking fire, there's a melee today.
Oh yeah. I put one out there.
Why the melee? What's going on with this? And where does a cigarette? I could see a cigarette igniting. What the topic is, but
Oh,
please
yeah.
fill us in. This is I could see how you spent your weekend.
Well, I spent my weekend in a number of ways, diving down a number of political topics.
Oh boy.
One of them is statewide here in Missouri, where Governor Mike Parson, the Bolivar, is it Bolivar or Bolivar?
Bolivar.
The
I think
Bolivar,
it's Bolivar.
yeah, the Bolivar bullshitter, won't allow Viking funerals
Okay.
to happen within the state.
And was this a pressing issue that needed to be addressed?
Well, to me, it is.
Okay.
I'm on borrowed time, man.
All right. Got it.
Borrowed time right now, so I'm in planning mode. I got a playlist going. I got an email draft with my funeral playlist. I've already wanted to
What's happening?
we've just talked about it, a Viking funeral on the river de Pare. I mean, look how glorious that could look.
Well, that's an
pretty
ocean.
cool.
Yeah, but
that's an ocean.
there's still sun.
with a horizon and
Yeah.
and lots of open
There's
space.
a horizon on the River de Pere,
Okay,
especially when it's flooded.
got it.
Then you really get a look at it.
So
It
you're
looks like a lake there.
so your flaming boat could end up in someone's front yard.
Oh,
Is that what you want?
Well, that's not the hope.
Okay.
More likely you'll run into like a bridge or something like that and then
Got
just
it.
kind of crumble and dissipate.
Got it.
But I'm just upset with the governor for his stance on that, and I just wanted a poll question: should Viking funerals be legal in the state of Missouri?
We only cover the hardest of core news.
And your options are for yes, and all hell nah for no.
Good incorporation.
And I just will give the results tomorrow. That's all. It's something that I've discussed before, so I thought it at least could be put out as a poll question. And after
My
the
only
governor-
thing is, the only thing I think they would justifiably drop this bill is because I think they fear that maybe people would set large parts of nature on fire because people just aren't accurate with their. Maybe if we have more accurate, what are those people called?
like an archer.
Archer. Yeah, there we go. Archerist, anarchist,
Oh,
Keep working through it.
archerist, archeries,
I think you nailed it. With
archeries, Robin Hoodians. There we go, Robin Hoodians.
Robin Hoodians, yes.
I think if we had more accurate Robin Hoodians, I think this law probably would have passed.
Okay.
Mm.
Well,
But
maybe I could do
I
something.
mean, it's Missouri.
So
When it comes to,
So it's an archery issue.
have we learned? I think if it's Missouri, we don't pay attention to laws. Like we're not like. Do you think people are gonna not do Viking funerals now?
I was going to say there are several things that when you grow up in a rural area and then you go into more of a city setting, you're like, what? What? That's
Exactly.
illegal? I've been doing that. Been doing that for a
I even
decade.
Exactly.
talked to someone who plans funerals about it, and they're like, "Yeah, I think I can make this happen for you."
Why are you? What? You're
I have a
looking at. You
friend.
went that far.
I have a friend who's retired.
Okay.
Like he went to school for all that stuff. He was running funeral homes for years, and he still does some every so often if people in particular that he knows ask. And I sat down with him one day and said, "Hey, can we make this happen?" He's like, "We're going to work on it. We're going to give this a shot." So
Is Gardner forward thinking, or is he just living in a morbid prison
Can
of
it be
his own
both?
mind?
can it be both?
It can be.
Is
It
the
certainly
question I
can be
often
both.
ask.
Like I think
Okay.
it's not an unreasonable request. I
Yeah.
don't know if how many people are accurate enough to pull it off. I think that maybe
Yeah.
is the concern because think about the cost. Because you would imagine, like I said, if you're going to do it, you don't want someone to be 10 feet away. No, you want someone to do some Legolas, like shoot it off the back of
Need a
a
good arch on it, yeah.
backboard. Yeah,
Well-
get some huge arch on it over a bridge or something
I
into
trust
the
my brother.
river.
I'm sorry.
My brother,
Excuse me?
my little brother, could do it. I mean,
Is
he's
he an Olympic level
He's a
archer?
Robin Hoodian.
no, I mean, but he does bow hunting. So does my father.
Okay.
So I mean,
Now, do you
But he
want
can
them
make
to
it go
use-
up and make it come down.
Do you want them to use an
Uh,
old school, or are you okay with a compound? There's a,
Well,
do
you know what?
Do you want their skill
maybe
used?
Lindenwood owes me. They have like a champion, like archery team at Lindenwood.
Okay.
Like they have people that go to the Olympics for archery at Lindenwood.
Now we're talking. Now
so
we're
maybe
talking.
Lindenwood owes me a favor now, and we get the archery team at Lindenwood to handle it. Would that be? I mean, because
Well, now we're
that's
now we're
Olympic
talking.
level then.
Now we're talking sponsorship as well. I'm now interested. What are we working with here?
Okay.
How do we get this branded?
Sponsored
I like
funerals.
that.
How
I've
do-
seen that.
How do we make this happen? We could get Kingsford. We could get Kingsford charcoal on for the slow
You
burn.
guys have dogs. afterwards?
Aww.
Oh wait, I meant
Aww.
on your pyre. Okay,
Oh.
got it. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. What do I care at that point?
If you're from a rural community, would you use a Roman candle to shoot the raft? Fair question.
No, you're throwing sparkler bombs.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. Hopefully nobody loses
I
a
think we
finger
blew them up.
in the issue.
But the fact is that there is a small group of world-class archers that probably receive weird letters in the mail or phone calls via their agent to participate in Viking funerals across
Okay.
the globe. That is just such a deal. Like there is somebody who's on a flight right now headed to some weird European we've never heard of because he's a top 5 archer in the world, and he's about to form his 7th Viking summer. That's a thing to be. That person should have a podcast or a blog.
Better archer, the cartoon or the pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates?
The cartoon.
It's definitely the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon. And Travis, that's a racist choice on your part, so I'm glad you walked
That
right
is
into
my
that.
bad. Travis, you racist as hell.
Thank
There
you.
is a
Sam
world-
Lyons filled in for you for Make It Racist admirably.
Which was
on
racist
Friday.
as hell.
Oh,
That
I'm
was
sorry.
very like you found a light-skinned black
There
man
it was.
from the South with an
There it was.
afro.
Mm-hmm.
And if you talking about that wasn't racist, that was super racist.
Okay, got it. Gardner, what are you looking for there?
Oh, I'm looking to see who the best archers in the world are.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the Archers of Loaf. That's a band.
Okay.
Chris Archer, again, for the Pirates. Archer, the cartoon. And then Archie from the comics.
Okay, it looks like South Korea is the place to go.
Why is that?
They have a
That
lot
makes
of
sense.
good archers, it seems like.
Oh, okay, got it.
Kuban Chan,
Sure.
Lee Sang Yoon,
Mm-hmm.
Kim Woo Jin.
Yeah, of course.
Brady Ellison looks like the one in terms of the United States. He won a bronze medal. There's Jean-Charles Valadant, who won a silver from France.
All right, so here's the situation. What happens if you bring one of these world-class archers to your Viking funeral and he mistakenly loses an arrow and kills someone at a Viking funeral? Do you still use that archer for the Viking funeral of the person that he killed?
Oh, fair question. Yeah. Does he now, hey, my bad, I'll give you a 17% discount on my services
There you go.
for the
There you
loss of
go.
your other relative? But hey,
Yes.
I'm here.
Prorate. Do you get a prorated deal if an archer kills someone at a Viking funeral?
I would think so.
Yeah, it depends
Yeah.
on where he's
I mean,
from.
you made a mistake at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least no deposit, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That's fair.
Waive the deposit.
something has to happen
I
in
think
that
that's
case.
fair.
You don't have to go to jail, but, I mean, something has to happen there.
We've got a link on here. Maybe this happens for you. Maybe we've got the boat floating out into the river de Pere. We think old Silver here is underneath the pile of fire, and Gardner walks up eating a hot dog as the family's barbecuing. This is actually a story that we have on the rundown. Family making funeral plans for their relative, shocked when he shows up at the barbecue. This is from Chicago. Family that was making funeral plans for a beloved relative who authorities said had died in hospice care was shocked when the man showed up at a friend's barbecue. Oh my goodness. Exposing what the family says a fatal case of mistaken identity on the part of Chicago police and hospital officials.
Yeah, there's a lawsuit with that one.
Yeah, you'd think so. So that's the man who was
There's
alive.
a massive lawsuit with that one. So the individual, the man in question, the doctors, again, it was mistaken identity. And when they brought the family in to identify the body was so mangled in the face that they weren't certain themselves that this was their relative. But the doctors and police insisted that no, right now you're just going through grief, but this is indeed your relative. It's time to set the wheels in motion for funeral plans. So they had an entire funeral for this individual. But what ended up happening was this individual was actually visiting relatives in the South. So he was out of town. So he knew nothing that this was even going on. So he returns after the funeral to this event for family. It was a barbecue, and sure enough, he just walks. And the way they tell the story is that, it's a fairly big family reunion or a family event. And like people started running to his aunts and cousins, like, you won't believe who's here right now. You won't. This is unbelievable. Like such a name, but he's here. And sure enough, he was alive, and there's a massive lawsuit going on against the hospital and the police department.
I'm surprised in this day and age that no one tried to kill him when he walked in
Right,
because they
right.
thought he was a zombie.
Yeah.
I like at least a teenager saying, it's a zombie apocalypse,
He
and
walks-
then just tries to kill the guy.
He walks in.
I mean, if Jesus's thing had happened as it goes, that
I'm
fable.
getting confused. There's a character on Walking Dead they call
like if-
Jesus too.
Like if Jesus had died and then came back in today's age, someone would try to kill him because they thought he was a zombie.
Right. Or they'd be like,
Yeah.
even to him, they would be like, this is devil worship. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it's the exact opposite, man.
It would not fly at all.
No, it wouldn't. And you got to think too, like if he walks in to the family barbecue and you hear a cult get the gun, right? The revolver.
Yeah,
No, not the
I
drink.
stereotype
Not
there.
the drink. You hear a revolver kind of click and you just hear Coral.
I deserve the head
It's
shake,
trouble.
Travis.
It's going to be bad. So
I
Travis,
think this is a.
do you flip
It's
out
a
if
fascinating
if
story.
he's your uncle and he walks in? Is there a celebration? Are you immediately mad? How's it go?
I think you go to anger because
He's 68 too. You can't get too excited. Like I don't know the man's health. Maybe he's the healthiest 68-year-old in the world. You get too damn excited,
He's obviously
you're gonna take. Maybe his ticker's not doing that.
well.
great.
He's obviously going to be confused as well.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Oh wow, this is the nicest you
Right.
guys have been to me since Christmas '87.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, you held a funeral for someone, so I mean, funerals are like a process. I don't know if anyone's ever had to plan a funeral, but it takes a lot out of you. You're in the middle of grieving and also trying to take care of family business. So that puts on an added amount of stress. So I can't imagine going through the process of planning a funeral, having the funeral, and then you have a family get together only weeks later, and then the person you thought you had just buried shows up. I would be obviously happy that my family member's alive, but incredibly angry that you lied to my family and you screwed up and humiliated my family and caused this trauma for no reason at all. So I would be like, that family
gotta
is
think.
likely to win that lawsuit, and they should. And if the hospital and the police department were smart, they would try to immediately settle, because you literally told these people that no, you're crazy, you're going through grief. So you denied them even the opportunity to question whether or not that was their relative. You know what I'm saying? So
And I
they even
think-
they weren't sure themselves, and you
Right.
told them, no, you're stupid.
This
And
is
I
going to get
think-
so expensive if they do this hourly like if you base everyone that was at the funeral what their time's worth hourly, and that had to be like a 14-hour
I
funeral.
think at least. I mean, there's going to be just. Well, it wouldn't be longer than Aretha's.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe 5
Yeah.
or 6.
No, the church service alone
Yeah.
cut like 3 days off people's lives.
It's like figuring out time
Ooh.
when someone's innocent and you've had them in prison.
They do that when
You
they're
gotta have
assessing.
like a formula.
They're sitting there. They're in a back office. They've got the police chief
Ooh,
and
what do we
the
do here?
mayor, and then they have an assessor come in, and they're like, "All right, what religion were they?
Yeah.
Catholic? We'll be okay, right?" They're
Yeah.
like, Third Baptist."
Oh no! What have we
He
done?
throws his papers in the air. Damn it!
What have we done?
We're
But-
broke as a
but
city.
That's at least they at least like to need set aside money, like separate from whatever lawsuit, to pay for the man's next funeral. I guess.
Right? Can we
Because
at
you know
least-
the family's like, we ain't paying for another
Can we
funeral.
comp him the funeral, the
Yeah,
real
that's a
one?
good point.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they should at
That's a
least
good point.
separate from whatever the
Question.
settlement or money that is. Separate from that has to be money set aside and already planned the man's next funeral.
Super important question, and this is a character thing. I need you guys to answer very honestly, and if you're listening in the comments, let us know there too. Travis, are you, if this man's family is they had the funeral, they had the celebration, everything, that means one thing. That means there's probably leftovers from your own funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Are you eating some of Auntie's sweet potato pie that was your own funeral food? Is there a karma issue with that? Or is it, hey, more for me? Are you eating your own leftovers from your funeral? I need to know.
I absolutely would, because like how do you like? Because that's probably going to be the best damn food you've
Yeah.
ever had. Like that's funeral food.
Well, and you're still
So
alive to
somebody
taste
was
it.
like,
You're gonna appreciate it.
so yeah, I didn't think about that. I never thought about like whether or not I would want to eat my own funeral food. But now that you guys have put it so eloquently, yes, I think I
Are
would
you
like to try my own funeral food.
are you mad? Are you mad if you've got the one cousin who usually makes really great homemade pie, and you see that she showed up with something from Walmart that she got in a hurry because you know what? He's gone.
Oh, this is what you think about me?
Right.
Like
Do
you
you
learn
think
what
less
people think about
do
you
you
at
think
that moment.
you think yes? So we've got
You
Tom and
do. I
Sean
think
in
you
the
want to know. You would, yeah,
comments.
you would
Yeah,
want to. You want the film. You want the game film from your funeral. So
you
you
do.
want to know what people said about you when you died. And so, like yeah. I think in this particular case, he's a very fortunate man because he can find out how people truly felt
Yes.
about
Yeah.
him.
Is the friend you always worried about already firing on your wife? Like, I mean,
Because think about it. Well, that's a good.
I
That's a good
remarried.
question.
It's
And then
been
two,
3 days.
right? She's like,
right.
sorry, I always wanted to have an orgy with the Chicago Bears. It's like it happens.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing as well, because he's dead, so he's off the rolls. He's off the grid.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Ooh, I would
do you
leave.
really want this story back into the public? Because
Right.
you're
Right.
like, look, they messed up. Like, they ain't got to know I'm alive. I can go out and be whoever I want.
Hmm.
Like, that would be the thing that bothers me more than anything is like to be brought back from the dead, and now the news knows. So there goes your opportunity to
Well,
walk this earth
it-
being a complete nobody.
And
You're-
now you've enticed me, Travis.
now we're
you've
talking.
convinced me of like, why can't this happen to me? Why can't I die in the eyes of others but still be alive? Because then the questions become like, if I show up at that barbecue and they're like, oh my God, you're still here, and you're finding things out, you're wondering like, hey, how much money do we have in my life insurance policy?
Yep.
And this kind of
Exactly.
thing, and then
Right.
like there might be a point where I say, I was never here. I'll see you.
Do the good people?
I'm gone.
Do the
Well,
good
that's not
people
enough-
at
that's a-
Ameren and the utility companies check Google to
There you
see
go.
what's going on?
Right, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, I
Well,
got a
that's
burner
the next
phone.
thing.
I'll call you.
And I don't know the legal process of being brought back to life, but I would imagine there's
That's a
some
pain in the
legal and financial issues and some, yeah, like how does that, because he was, like I said, this event took place 2 weeks after the funeral, if I'm not mistaken. So like that's a window, that's enough time for him to be, for lack of a better term, again, taken off the rolls.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would like to kind of walk around in that. I kind of would like at least another month of being like not having to pay taxes and not have to worry about a bill collector. Like I want to walk around in that for a little bit.
And then you could just recreate yourself as to whatever you
Yes.
want to be.
Mm-hmm. So really,
Yes.
so
That's
really,
something.
the Chicago authorities should offer this as a service. So we don't need to be so hard on them. This is something they could market
Right.
for themselves. Like you get to pick 2 or 3 people a year that just get to clean slate it.
You're off.
Yep,
You're off
that's
the
right.
grid.
The new lottery,
Start anew.
not like the short story.
Oh, that would be dope. That would be pretty cool. Like because yeah, like I would play that lottery where you could just completely delete yourself from society.
Mm-hmm.
Like
We-
imagine
we
how
wish
cool
you
that
would.
would be.
Yeah.
Huh?
Huh?
What? That's racist.
Sorry. Good time to tell you about St. Louis Counseling Services.
it?
Check out stlouiscounseling.org. They have services in the St. Louis areas for individuals, businesses, schools seeking counseling services. You can find them online at stlouiscounseling.org. Also, download the podcast. Tom Duff speaks to comedians, business people, other mental health professionals. You can get it anywhere podcasts are uploaded. You can check them out. Great conversations breaking down the stigma of mental health issues. That's St. Louis Counseling and Mental Health Matters, the podcast. So big thanks to everybody for tuning in. I do have one from Black Sheep. Says just change your jersey number, then you can come back from death or erase a assault charge like Kobe.
Oh, God.
That's one from the listeners there. So all in all,
Ooh.
are we still going to be hard on the Chicago authorities?
And you also have to buy your wife like
The
a
biggest ring.
$3
you've ever
million
seen.
ring.
Yeah,
So
right.
also do that.
Yeah.
I think yeah, I suspect someone's gonna lose their job, but
No, that's not
I
how.
mean,
That's
this
not
is
how government runs. Somebody's
yeah,
gonna get
that's true.
promoted, and they're gonna be like, "Well, what are you
Yeah,
gonna
that's
do?"
true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't think anything is gonna come. I mean, the family's gonna get a nice payday. But
Yeah.
I'm naive. No one's losing their job. It's just gonna be a nice payday for the family.
So, betting on the fella, is he gonna take this opportunity and run with it? Is he gonna be somebody that we're like, man, he really did a great job with this? I like to think so. I like to think he starts wearing suits everywhere now, and he's got some new friends, and then maybe he's making a move now that he's got no utility bills to pay.
I think this is kind of a unique story. Like I would not be surprised if this is a series or a sitcom in a year and a half because it makes too much sense for like just again think about being erased and then coming back to life, if you
Well, it's a
will.
perfect
Like
storm
just
too
the
because he's 68 and he couldn't just be texted. I guess you know what I mean. Like nobody texts him like, "Hey, just
right.
checking on you," you know, because we're not sure about this, or even the relatives he's visiting. I don't know. I don't know if they live in the country or if this is something else. This had to be a perfect storm in today's modern
Yes.
communication world. Like, and then how did he know the barbecue was happening? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I think yeah, it's yeah, but you still have to know like there's a very detailed process in identifying bodies. Like someone didn't follow protocol, like they missed at least five, six steps at some point, and that's just incredibly careless, especially when it comes to someone's loved one. So yeah, like those processes, that's a detailed like 100% process. You can't mess that up. Like someone was just like, I'm at the end of a shift. Yeah, just tell them their loved one's dead. Like that started it. So yes, I'm still blaming the hospital and still blaming the cops because someone was just like, man, I'm about to go get these ribs. I've been trying to eat.
Yeah.
I ain't had
Yeah.
my lunch in 6 hours.
This
Tell that
is
family they gone
Now,
crazy.
what
Because
about
if
the
he was
reverse?
alive, he like to Chris's point, he probably would have been like, well, why hasn't he shown up? Have you called him? Like, okay, you people are delirious. Please, he's dead. Move on.
Now,
So
what
this is a
about the
good
other
comedy.
family?
This is a good
It
comedy.
is. I think we need to flesh this out, and this can be our first collaboration, Travis. What about the other family? They were just thinking the guy's an asshole who hasn't been around for a couple of weeks. Turns out he's dead. Like, did they do the opposite with them when they're like, "Hey, we think you have our
Yeah,
family
we
member in
didn't
your
even
custody, and
discuss them.
we think he might be there might be something grave with this." And they're like, "No, that turd's out partying. You just go keep texting him. It's fine. It's fine." That's the people.
that's a good point.
That's
Yeah.
and
The guy's
think
wife
about that.
filed for divorce while he's dead.
Oh no! Oh no! Do they have to? Did they bury this man? Did they
Oh,
have
I
to
don't know.
exhume the man who was? I mean, if it's
Oh,
that
I
kind
don't
of,
know.
what if they
I
cremated
think
him?
they did bury
What
him.
if they cremated him
Oh,
and they didn't get to? Oh no!
So
This is gonna get.
they're gonna have to pay out a number of areas here.
You would think too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good news!
well, that's
All just gets passed on to.
And actually, they
to
should
the
pay for
taxpayer.
that funeral too.
They really
There's two
should.
funerals they should be paying for here.
Really should.
One that happened and is going to happen again at some point.
3 total.
And then one that happened but probably didn't happen properly. So they're going to redo that one too.
Like, do
so
they-
you're redoing two funerals basically.
Well, and then they need to pay
let's
the
be
back
honest. We
funeral.
want this reality show. We want
Yeah.
this reality show, right? We want
Right.
this like if this was or a documentary on Netflix because you would have to think that this isn't the only time something like this has happened.
No.
So I'm trying to just think of the trauma and how the dominoes, how it would drastically affect your life, knowing that was dead, buried, and now you have to readjust your life, your feelings, and the person that's brought back to life. Like again, I would be very curious to hear what people had to say about me at my own funeral.
Oh man.
Like
I think
that's
it'd
the part I'd be very curious because think about it like it's one thing like remember when you guys stood me up for my birthday party like
when you
it'd be
told us
like
2.5
that.
hours before it started.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, it's
See,
just
I
like
would
a
like-
funeral. I don't know when it was gonna happen.
Like say you're going into witness protection
I got another thing too.
and they say, "Hey, we have to fake your death and then put you in witness protection." Like I'm telling those people, can you at least like find a way to live stream the events because I want to see how people react.
Right.
Because I'm going to carry that with me, and there might be a time where I come out of witness protection, and there's going to have some talks.
Right.
Or vengeance immediately.
There's that also.
So I would like to have that information. It would be hard for me not to know. If they wouldn't allow it, I would have to find other avenues to make sure I knew what happened there. Like that's what I would want to know, that if the scenario presented itself where I had to fake my death for witness protection, I need to know how people reacted and responded at my funeral. And if they actually put me to rest like I requested. Well,
would you be upset as to who it was in attendance? Would attendance bother you? Like if you looked up and were like, oh shit, I can't believe my Uncle Charlie didn't show up. What the hell that's all about? Like I think that's the part that would get to me, would be like, oh, for real, y'all didn't have time to stop at my funeral, for real, bro?
Right. No, yeah, that most certain. Like that, then the list would be made, and at some point I'd come out of witness protection and say I'm here, and then I'm the bad guy because I lied to them or something.
Or Michelle Obama showed up at your funeral. Like, what if like some baddie showed up at your funeral? Would you try to go hit on those baddies now that you're brought back to life?
Like maybe like
Gotcha.
Maybe like they created your death in like a very heroic way that was a complete lie, and that inspired others and like celebrities like you're mentioning there, Travis. And then they're like, if we only could have met sooner, like I mean, like say
They're
that
now
happened.
pining for you.
Yeah, like you're watching her talk, and she's like, I didn't know him, but I felt like I knew him.
Do you?
And I wish I could have gotten to know him better. I thought, and then you're just like, I mean, what are you doing then?
I'm here now. Let's make the most of this crazy, messed up world. Now, how do you handle? Say somebody went through. Well, this guy was older, but say it's you, Gardner, and someone hacked into your Facebook. Because they needed closure and they wanted that. Do you then have to answer for something that you did, or if they find something in your room when they're cleaning it, like, he was lying about that? Do you then have to answer to those people? Like people found out you were kind of talking some smack about them, and they don't really care for that. Did they get the opportunity to then confront you because of your true feelings and what they discovered? They're like, hey, we're super happy you're alive and back, and that's all good and well. But you said I was an asshole in this Facebook message 3 months ago.
That's probably fair.
You have to then answer for it.
They won't find that. Personally, though, on my Facebook, they won't find that because if you look at my timeline, it's just people sending me bear memes and stories, and that's all my Facebook is.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about that. Plus, my second computer has a
Oh boy, should you be talking about that?
fail-safe,
Got it.
so to speak.
Okay.
It's simple. The hard drive melts in certain situations.
Computer Ron, rest in peace. Set that up for you.
Thanks,
right?
Ron.
Yeah.
Up top. The best.
Up top. That was the best hour on We Are Live you've ever heard. Be sure to
Why do we talk
subscribe
about death and funeral?
on iTunes if you haven't yet. And we love those 5-star reviews. Check us out on iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on the video, hit share during the break. Let's get to more people watching, listening, and enjoying the show. Again, big thanks to Tech Electronics for supporting us and for the lovely studio equipment. Travis, it's progressively gotten darker and you've gotten harder to see. I think you are fading into a witness protection video, sir. If you start sounding very strange, I'm going to think something's up. We'll take a quick break. We're live in Grand Center at Midcoast Studio. Check out midcoast.media for more information. Quick break. We'll be right back on the other side.